I have met some of you. I have met representatives of many of your organizations, and I'm extremely delighted to welcome you here. Harish has spoken about the Unilever story, and I'll speak about the HUL story, so bring you closer to home. The safe harbor statement, just to remind you. Now, if we look at 2013-14, it has been a challenging context. Yeah, our GDP in the country, which in the first part of this millennium, for the first 10, 11 years, had been growing very robustly, has come down to sub 5%. Yeah, the consumer price inflation has remained, it hasn't been benign at all. The currency has been very volatile, and of course, it takes a toll on the consumer confidence. But despite this, our business has continued to grow. We've had a top line growth of 9%, our underlying volume growth has been at 4%, and of course, PBIT has been in low double digits. We have grown ahead of the market, yeah, which we call as the competitive growth. If you look at our underlying volume growth over the quarters, it has been consistent, and importantly, our growth has been profitable. And this profitable growth has not been at the cost of our spends behind the brands. Hari spoke about how Unilever globally has been investing more money behind the brands, and that's a similar picture you will see in India, where we have invested in our brands, and after investing behind our brands, we have improved our margins. Our growth has been responsible growth, what we call as our sustainable priorities, which comes in from our Unilever Sustainable Living Plan. Yeah, we have three important pillars. First is improving the health and well-being. Second is reducing the environmental impact. And third is enhancing livelihoods. Under each of these three pillars, we have a very clear laid down agenda. When it comes to health and well-being, we're talking about Lifebuoy. Last year, we reached out to 10 million new consumers. And cumulatively, over the time since we launched USLP, we have reached to nearly 60 million consumers. Same goes with the Pureit initiative. When we look at reducing environmental footprints, what we have said, we are going to decouple growth with our environmental footprints. And you see that happening across in our factories as well as across our value chain. When we talk about enhancing livelihoods, we have some amazing initiatives in Project Shakti. We have 65,000 Shakti Ammas and 50,000 Shakti Mans who today earn their livelihoods from, they have been trained by us, and today they earn their livelihoods on a sustainable basis by distributing Unilever products. So look at our track record. Our return on capital employed keeps going up. Our cash from operations keeps improving in a healthy manner. And last year we had 5,000 crores of cash generation. Our brands, as an FMCG company, brands are our core. Our brands are people and operations. That's the triology which runs our business. We have 11 brands which are more than 1,000 crores. And we have 8 brands which are more than 500 crores. And there are many more brands which are knocking on entering the 500 crore club. If we look at from a perspective of Indian consumers, we are talking about several of our brands being rated by our consumers as one of the most trusted, be it on the top 5, the top 25, or the top 100. We are talking about nearly 20% of the most loved brands in the country coming from a stable of Hindustan Unilever. As far as our ability to attract talent is concerned, for the 3rd year in a row, we are an employer of choice. For a 5th year in a row, we have been the dream employers. And we have been the #1 rated, whether it is marketing in IIMs, or finance in IT, in FMCG, or as an employer for women. Yeah. Now, what this does is, a very strong employer brand enables us to attract the best possible talent, and what we do is make them even better. Now, every second day on an average, HUL has been given an award. by one or the other organization in one or the other function of ours. Now, this in many ways reflects the role that HUL plays in the society and the way the society recognizes HUL. So let me now talk about winning decisively. What does it mean for us? And importantly, what are the pillars with which we are going to remain a winner all through? First is talking about India. India is changing. Whether it is from an affluence perspective, this was a classical pyramid, and in the next few decades, it will certainly become a diamond rather than a pyramid. The aspirations, the attitudes of the people, the awareness which comes with technology and connectivity, and of course, the access to our products, and that enables us to do what we classically call as the market development. Get more users into our product, make them consume more of our brands, be it by increasing the frequency of consumption or the consumption per occasion, and importantly, upgrade our consumers and get them to see much more benefits than what they have been doing hitherto. Our strategy has been very consistent. Harish spoke about it. Compass is a compelling framework based on which we have been driving our business for the last few years. We have a model, a virtuous circle of model, which we use to drive our business, and we have a very clear set of goals, which we call as the goals of 4G, which is consistent growth, competitive growth, profitable growth, and responsible growth. Now, these are the 4 pillars, the non-negotiables, which come from our compass, which is winning with brands and innovation, winning in the marketplace, winning through continuous improvement, and winning through people. Of course, safety for us is non-negotiable. Everyone who is associated with us, who works for us, we want them to go back home safe and sound every day. And USLP is our differentiator. Let's talk about winning with brands and innovation. We have a strong core. And over the last 2 years, we have increased our investment behind our brands by 1,000 crores. And not only are we focusing on ensuring that our core remains strong, but importantly, we are readying our business for the future. That's where market development comes in. That's where nascent categories comes in. Harish spoke about lotions. If we were to benchmark against Thailand, we have a potential to grow 13 times. Take hair conditioners. If we were to benchmark against Philippines, the hair conditioner market in India could grow by a factor of 40. Take fabric conditioners. If you were to benchmark against Vietnam, our market could grow by a factor of 45. Now, that's the opportunity waiting for our business. And that is where market development becomes so important as part of our strategy. Exciting innovations. Innovations for an FMCG company will remain the lifeblood. We have to constantly innovate and renovate our brands. Last year, we innovated to the extent of nearly 60% of our turnover. And together with innovations, it's about deploying impactful activations. At the end of the day, we want our consumers to fall in love with our brands. We call it brand love. So it is not just the attributes of the brand, but we also want to occupy the emotional space in the minds of the consumers. That's where impactful activations play a huge part. Many of you looking at this slide would have been able to relate with the activations that we are talking about. The other important bit is we leverage the scale, the size, the technology and R&D of a global corporation called Unilever, a 50 billion euro corporation. We launched Tresemme in 2012, and in the first full year, it's become a 100 crore business. We brought in TG, we brought in Toni and Guy, and just a few months back, we have rolled Magnum in Mumbai. I'm sure many of you would have tasted Magnum, and if you aren't, let me tell you, it's the best possible chocolate vanilla ice cream that you would have ever tasted. We have several flavors, and today I'm sure you will get a chance to try out Magnum. There's no ice cream better than Magnum. Yeah? Now these were the global brands that we have brought into India. Now for us, increasingly, our brands, we've been driving them with a purpose. Whether it is the health and hygiene campaign with Lifebuoy, or it is setting up the Domex Toilet Academy with Domex, or giving access to safe drinking water with Pureit, yeah? Or the Real Beauty campaign with Dove. Now these are all brands which have a conscience, which have a purpose, and they resonate well with our consumers. Winning in the marketplace. Last year, we set an audacious agenda. How do we increase the direct coverage of a business by 1 million stores? We called it, I Will 1 Mil. Now remember, at the beginning of last year, there were just about 2 million stores under direct coverage. And we said, let us increase our direct coverage by 50%. So our whole intention was, we will increase our coverage by 1 million stores and have 1 million stores in India under a direct coverage made perfect. And it has been amazing results. We have been delivered. We have been able to deliver our promise of 3 million stores. And we made 1 million store perfect. Perfect from a perspective of assortment. Perfect from the perspective of range, the planogram, the point of sales material, the pricing inside the store, the promotions inside the store. You walk into the store and you can feel it. That's what we do in terms of making a store perfect. Now for us, if we look at it, our strength today is moving from urban to the wide swath of the rural heartland. Today we have 200,000 villages which come under our direct coverage, which would be constituting a large part of the rural economy. We have 1 million stores which are perfect, and we have brought in a concept of perfect villages. So about 8,500 villages, which constitute about 17% of the rural GDP, have been brought under perfect villages, where we bring in the power of market development, where we bring in the power of perfect stores, and where we bring in the power of a sustainable living plan all together. We have, for us, modern trade is extremely important. In India, it is still at a nascent stage. Still it is low double digits. But we know in the future it's bound to grow, and for some of our categories, it's much more important. So across categories and in store, we are focusing on market development, we are focusing on partnerships with the retailers through the joint business plans, and importantly, we have embarked on what we call as the building brands in stores. And today you will experience some of the initiatives that we have done under the BBIS or Building Brands in Store initiative. For us, embracing technology is extremely important. Technology to bring about the right innovations as well as technology for the right business processes. We use technology extensively in our supply chain and in our CD operations. That coupled with the technology that we have in the back end, and we talked about enterprise technology solutions, back office in Bangalore, it makes it a very holistic combination, a very strong combination. From a continuous improvement perspective, we have a relentless focus on costs. And that focus on cost is from end to end. We also look at how can we max the mix from a portfolio perspective, from a geographic perspective, from a channel perspective, as well as looking at it, how do we bring in more margin accretive innovations. We also have a business model that works. When you have a relentless focus on costs, you can deploy the money saved behind the right innovations, behind your brands, fuel the volume growth, and kickstart the virtuous circle of growth. And that's what you have been seeing for the last few years in HUL, and that will continue into the future. If you look at material cost savings, it's been increasing year after year. If you look at our non-material supply chain costs, that's been decreasing. Our overheads, that's been decreasing. And this has been coming in from two important factors. One is leveraging the scales and the volume, and second is the intense and relentless focus that we give on each element of cost. Any element of cost that doesn't add value to our consumers, we question it and we take it off. Our supply chain has become increasingly efficient. Our safety record has improved. Our service levels have gone up. And service levels have not gone up at the cost of adding inventories. It has gone up by reducing inventories. Our innovation management OTIF, on-time delivery on time, that has gone up. And you will see our focus on enhancing the productivity of our assets, sweating our assets, that has gone up. That adds to improving our return on capital employed, that adds to improving the cash flow of the business. We have been putting huge amount of focus on improving the quality of our products. Quality of products at the moment of truth, when the shopper gets it, when the consumer gets it in their hands. And you will see there has been a good progress and a drop in the kind of complaints we have been getting. At the same time, the service delivery, if you just look at the Pureit Index, that has been going up progressively. Our whole aim is, how do we delight our consumers? Project Half, Hari spoke about it. The whole intent behind Project Half is, how do we make our business simpler? How do we make our business go much faster? How do we make our business become much more agile? And in a classical VUCA environment, those are the traits which will hold us in good stead as we go ahead. We have also looked at our SKU portfolio. And those SKUs, which form a long part of the tail, we have culled them out to make our business much more simple, much more focused. Winning with people, a very important part. Yeah, we want to keep strengthening our employer brand. We want to keep attracting the best possible talent in the country. We keep investing huge resources behind the talent. In our business, our philosophy is leaders build leaders. That's what we do. It's not an extracurricular activity, it's a core part of a job. For us, a performance culture, lifting the floor, raising the bar on performance, that's very important. We want to make our company much more diverse, much more inclusive. I'm so happy to say that in the last few years, the gender balance quotient in the company has increased by nearly 10% point amongst our managerial workforce. Today, nearly 30% of all the managers in our business are women. Yeah? We are still far away from having a fair representation. And a fair representation is, it should represent the women's share in the society. The other important bit is investing behind capabilities. We want certain capabilities in the business to be distinct and hard to replicate by our competitors. Yeah, that's what we want. And that's the reason we invest huge amount in capabilities. And capabilities, when we talk about in a holistic way. We talk about from a perspective of talent. We talk about from a perspective of processes. Yeah? So that we make it institutional capability rather than residing in a few people. Yeah? Whether it is our capabilities, the beauty capability, whether it's the foods college, whether it is the e-commerce capability, a huge amount of effort is going around to making our organization future ready. Project Sunlight is an initiative which we launched last year. If you were to go back to our purpose, it's very simple. It is to make sustainable living commonplace. Yeah? We want people to join a momentum where every person in this country can contribute to sustainable living. We've started several initiatives to make people realize that they matter and they can make a difference to making this planet a better place for our children. The other big initiative which we launched this year is Prabhat. Prabhat is in the communities around where our factories exist. We want to bring in the power of Unilever through behavioral change programs, through vocational training, and our USLP projects. Yeah? We want to showcase how we can make a difference to the communities around which we have our operations. Yeah, I spoke about sunlight. So today, after my talk, we are going to go around, and there are three big themes that we are going to showcase to you today. One is the magic in marketing. We are a marketing company. We are the largest FMCG company in the country. Yeah? So marketing is not all about logic. There is also a lot of magic in marketing, and that we will showcase to you how we are bringing it alive. The second is, with the advent of mobile, with the advent of internet, yeah, we need to change the way we have been engaging with the consumers. So we are harnessing what we call as the non-TV media. TV still remains a very important medium for us, but increasingly, more of our money, more of our initiatives are being deployed on non-television media. Yeah? You have heard about Khan Khajura, you'll get to know more about it. It's brought in pride not only to HUL, but to India. And that's where creativity comes in. That's where capabilities come in. How do you pick up this new medium and make it come alive so that you reach your consumers? And the third important pillar that we are going to talk about is winning in the marketplace. How are we getting a decisive edge when it comes to the marketplace? So to summarize, context is challenging, but within this context, we are delivering our 4G goals. We have a very clear laid down strategy, and we are on course to implement our strategy. The mid to long term outlook for FMCG in India is extremely appealing, absolutely appealing. And we are, as a company, very well positioned to win decisively. Yesterday we had an AGM, and Harish in his chairman's statement talked about making an organization future ready. He spoke about 5 elements of a future ready organization. Yeah? He talked about embracing technology and inclusive innovation. So relevant, the pace of change that is happening in our country. Yeah? And inclusive innovation is taking care not just at the premium end, but also for the bottom of pyramid. Very vital. Yeah? Then he talked about responsible growth, sustainable and equitable growth. Then he talked about building capabilities and talent. The fourth element he talked about is an agile and inclusive workforce. And the fifth, but equally important, is a purpose-driven and value-led leadership. If you were to pause and reflect on these 5 elements, you will come to a conclusion that this company is indeed future ready. Thank you, and it's been a pleasure speaking to you.